Hi Stitchers, it's Nicole and welcome back to Stitching with Nicole. It is Monday, October 14th, 2024. I am so glad to see you for a weekly stitching recap. It'll be a quick video today. I have just a few things to share with you. An exciting announcement of a retreat or two, an FFO of a cross stitch finish, still working on the tree skirt. Ran into a little snafu with my tree skirt. It's not bad. It's just the binding is a little bit harder than I thought. So I was trying to rush it and I decided instead of rushing it, let's do it correctly. So I'll share that in the next video. So FFO, I have some stitching, a couple of new starts. Surprise, surprise, Chantel will say. Let's see. I also started and finished something, which I was really excited to do. Hopefully I'll have that FFO'd for next week as well. Don't have my ornaments FFO'd yet, but those are on the agenda this week. So that should also be coming in the next video. And I'm not in too big of a hurry because I actually ordered a rotating base for my Halloween tree. If you guys have been here a while, you know I have a rotating base for my Christmas tree. I've actually had it for like 15 years, maybe longer. I can't remember. It's old. In fact, they make them a little bit nicer now, but it still works. So we just roll with it every year. When it stops working, I'll replace it. But I did buy one, that I can use for the Halloween tree, but I also have two trees. So I wanted to get another rotating base last year and I didn't. So if I like it, I'll let you guys know all about it in my next video. So that's coming. I ordered some Christopher Radko Shiny Brights Halloween ornaments for my tree to fill in, especially because I don't have tons of cross stitch ornaments yet. And I love the Shiny Brights, so I did get some of those. So those are coming as well. So long story short, still decorating. But what I want to also share today, I've had several requests to share my Halloween decor. And I did spend some time over the weekend and I got it all put up. There might be a couple holes here and there of where I need to fill in, but I am going to show that in my video as well. I'll just put in some photos and things. But I also want to do a parade, if you will, of previous Halloween finishes. So lots to share, even though hopefully it will only be, I'm aiming for an hour video today, max. We will see where we end up, but let's dive into this week. Oh, real quick. I know I said I would do fall charts this week, but I decided let's stick with Halloween and then I'll do the fall charts for next week. Just because I did get everything out, I did get decorated. And so I thought, oh, this is a great opportunity to share those previous finishes, especially if you are a new subscriber, if you're new here and you haven't seen those, or maybe just as a reminder of what there is out there. So let's dive in to today's episode. First thing I want to share, there will be a couple of 141 design retreats in Williamston, Michigan. Chantal of 141 Design does the pep rallies in September, and Robin Pickens will be the guest designer at her September 2025 retreat. She is adding a retreat, and there will be one, I believe it's the, well, not I believe, I want to get the dates correct for you guys. It is May 1st through the 4th, 2025, and I will be your guest designer. We are going to be focusing on finishing. So come hang out in Michigan if you want to hang out with your other cross-stitching friends and besties and maybe either brush up on your finishing techniques or hopefully maybe pick up something new that you love. It is going to be a great time. I'm very excited about this retreat. I will have a link to registration down below once it does sell out. So there will be a wait list. So definitely sign up for that. And I do believe that Robin's retreat sold out. But get on the wait list for that, because you never know when people drop out all of the time. It does happen. So very exciting. I cannot wait to see you guys. I know several of you have said you're coming. I have heard from a few of you, and it'll be a good time. Something new that I'm doing, I mentioned it last week. If I run out of room, in the description box below the video here, as we do, because there is a character limit and I do tend to put a lot of information, so I run over, and that means in the past I've always had to like cut things out, take things out, and a lot of times I would take things out and that was the thing everyone wanted to know, and then I would have to email people individually. And the whole reason I do that below the video here and take the time to do that is because I think it answers a lot of questions that maybe you have, but 15 other people have as well. So that is always my goal, is to provide a lot of that information down below so it's easy to find without having to go find my email and email me or message me or whatever. So that's the first thing. Because I run out of room, I put it in I've been adding any additional content, I guess I should say, or links in that first pinned comment in the comments section. So in the comments of my videos for my Stitching with Nichol episodes, I do pin a comment. It usually tells you when the giveaway closes. I always like to highlight it there. Haven't been the best at that in the past. I've off and on have done that. I don't think I've even mentioned it to anyone, but now I am putting that as the first pinned comment. And if I have anything run over from the description box, it can be found there. Okay, the other thing, there are timestamps down below, and if you ever want to go back and look at the quilting section or the giveaway section, or you need to see who the winners are, or you just want to go look at the finishes again, you can click that link and it should take you to that spot in the video. Okay, let's dive in. Let's go ahead and do a finish parade first. I am going to pop in some photos of my home decor. Now, some of it may have cross stitch, some of it might not. And let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, and some of it is very old. I realized, and I had been texting with friends over the weekend, I realized I must not have put my decorations out all the way last year. And then, as it were, I kind of remembered I didn't, because as I dove into those boxes Saturday, I was like, oh my gosh, you know how fun it is, like at Christmas too, when you dive into those boxes of decorations and ornaments and all of the things, and you remember, or it transports you back to another time, or you remember getting it. But I made the joke to my friends. I was like, wow, I can remember my Pottery Barn era. But Pottery Barn does do really good Halloween. And I have had some of this stuff for, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15 years more. I told Ethan when he got home from work Saturday night, he was like, oh, you decorated. Even at almost 19, he was very excited about my decorations. But there's this one little tree I have that has like little votives in it. And over the years, I've replaced the votives with battery operated votives, although I'm looking at the rechargeable. That's just a side note. We'll see if I get those or not. But it's this cool black, gnarly Halloween tree. It has like little webs and spiders. It's made out of metal, but then it has orange votives in it. And I told him it's older than him. I remember purchasing it, and I had bought one other thing at the time too, but it didn't make a move. It had been broken, so I don't have the other thing. But I remember purchasing it, I believe, from Eddie Bauer Home. And it's funny I remember that, but anyway, I digress. The Halloween decorations are up and fun. It did not take me as long to decorate. I mean, I set a goal. I purged while I did it, like things that weren't bringing me joy, or just things that were broken, things that were junk, things, that I wasn't putting out. Like, anything that wasn't broken and didn't need to be thrown away got put in a box, got taken to Goodwill on Sunday. So yay, it's already gone. That brought me joy as well. So I'm going to insert some photos here, and then we're going to do a full finish parade. So something I noticed as I was decorating is that I don't have very many Halloween little pillows, which is funny because they're probably my favorite thing to make. Now, if you count fall, I do have quite a few, but I'm going to do the fall, pardon me, I'm not going to include the fall. We're going to do the fall in another video, probably, when Halloween is over, beginning of November, before we dive fully into Christmas. So I'm going to start with pillows, and then I can kind of put things away and go get more as we talk about it. But the first is this Boo Crew pillow. I am likely not going to know like all the fabrics and things for these, so you would have to go back to old Flosstube videos. I don't know that I'll research all of that today. This is a free download. I will link to this from Fat Quarter Shop. I did mine into this pillow and I changed the colors. My Halloween colors are mostly orange, black, and white. I don't do tons of green and purple. I don't mind it, but I don't do tons of it. So this is Boo Crew. I love it. It's a long pillow finish. I want to say that this is 32 or 28 count because it's a good size. You can see it's a good size. I finished it into a pillow. I sewed some Lady Dot chenille trim, hand stitched that all the way around. It is stuffed nice and firm. I'm sure it's got poly in it. That's what it feels like. And that is the Boo Crew. So that is one of my full finishes. The other is the Bats and Boos. This is also a free chart from Fat Quarter Shop. I did this like as I was dabbling right back into cross stitch, and it was my first time stitching on linen in quite some time, and it was challenging, and I find that so funny. You're going to see why when I show you my start finish this week. But I think I'm almost certain it was a 28 count. I'm sure it was. I'm sure I was like, I want to do the linen. And a lot of Fat Quarter Shop is 14 Aida or 28 linen. And so I'm sure that's what I did. I think I stitched it out all the called for. I believe it's Icelandic gray linen. All the called for overdyeds. I had a good time doing this. But I did make my own pillow. This one actually has a zipper in it. I did a pillow form and stuff for this. I'm not exactly sure why. But it is a good skill to have. And I think I have a video tutorial. I don't know if it was for this one or not, but I will link to that right here. So that is Bats and Boos. And I have the quilt that matches that, which I'll show it a little bit. Okay. This was from Tiny Modernist. I will have the name of these on the screen because I don't remember the names of all of them. This was a little pillow. I did do one of the openings in the back and then patched it and put buttons over it. As I've mentioned many times, this is not my favorite way to finish. Probably wouldn't do that again, but I'm going to leave it. I like seeing it as part of my story. Some just another Button Company buttons tucked in the top. This was stitched on 32 count. I know that I made a mistake in this pumpkin, but I rolled with it. I remember that at the time, and I think she is so cute. I love the little web in the scissors and the skull on the scissors, and then those little pins sticking in the pumpkin pin cushion. And then this was a last year. This is the Boo Pillow by from Hello from Liz Matthews. It was in the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, but then she did come out with the chart, I believe, last year. And it was in the magazine 2 years ago and the chart came out last year. So I made mine into a little pillow. I'm sure I stitched this on 36 count and 1/2 and absolutely love it. Just a little pillow, chenille trim around it. Super, super cute. Okay, a couple of years ago, I believe, this is the isn't it Toil and Trouble from Primrose Cottage? I know this is a Primrose Cottage chart, but I believe that's the name of it. And this is a tombstone. I'm going to turn it around, which funny enough, it still has the tag on it. This was from Place and Time from Joanne. It was $14.99. I'm sure I bought it on sale. I don't know. I left this on. I was going to cut it off when I was decorating. And then I thought, you know what? I'll leave it on so I can talk about it. But I did. It was their raw wood. I did not paint the back. Bless my heart. I should have, but whatever. Anyway, spray painted the front. I did a texture spray, and then I did black spray paint over that. Went ahead and put my stitch on here. I know that there is batting under it on press-on board, fabric, rickrack, and then I decorate it. This little broom was from Michael's at the time. Lots of pics. I think these were all from Michael's because Michael's still has these. I put some in my tree this year. The ribbon was from Joann's, but again, a couple years ago. But you can do something really similar. I didn't look to see if they have the tombstones anymore, but I love them. We should all tell Chantal that she needs to do a tombstone because I think it's a great finish for Halloween. Don't you guys think? Anyway, I love it. It turned out really cute. It was kind of my over-the-top deck. This was my over-the-top era. You're going to see in this week's finish, I was like, oh, minimalist for the win. But I love it. It turned out really good. This was a 32 count, I believe, some sort of picture this plus. It was a stitch along a couple years ago. Had fun with that. Oh, my rickrack came loose. Looks like I might have to do some fixer-rooing, but that's fine. Anyway, so that is that one. And then also along the same vein of my very much a lot of embellishing. This is Halloween by Jardin Privé. Sorry if I butchered that. Super cute. I'd love this chart forever. Really, really fun. I'm sure this is stitched on Vintage Country Mocha. Probably a 32 count because it looks like I stitched 2/2. It's on a paddle from Hobby Lobby. Mounted on press-on board with batting behind. There's rickrack, lots of little sprigs and stuff. I kind of went more with a fallish vibe, but then I did put a skull and crossbones in the center there. Those are from Tim Holtz. Those are still available. They're a fun way to embellish the center of a bow like that if you don't want to do a button. So those are a couple of my flat finishes. Let's go get some more. Okay, I don't know. Can I get back far enough? This is one of those finishes that I'm so super proud of. This concept, Chantal and I worked on from start to finish, and I love it. This was a stitch along last year. It is the Flying Lessons by Silver Creek Samplers, and I did do a color conversion for mine and did mine in purples. I know I just said I don't do a ton of purples, but it was originally in greens, and if it comes to purples and greens, I want the purples. Plus, I found all of these wonderful things to embellish the stand with at Michael's, and so I wanted to use those. So I'm going to move it in a little closer. You can see we have a broom. We have a hat. It is Flying Lessons after all. I talked a lot about this last year. The concept for this was I wanted this to look like an old-timey sign. So our stand, I did that crackle texture like I showed with the Toil and Trouble. So I sprayed it with the texture spray first for just the stand. Then I did black spray paint and I really grunged and roughed it up. I also added some straw-like things, some crows. You can see I have it up here as well. But then you'll notice that the sign is stained, and it is stained. I stained it and grunged it up because I wanted it to just like look like a wood, obviously it is wood, sign hanging from the signpost. And that was my whole plan with this. I did glue on some Tim Holtz little fun metal. I put some cording around my stitch. It's in purple and black, and I just love this. It's kind of the focal piece. I love, love, love this stand. This sign can be purchased separate. And if you have a stitch that fits, you could change it. I still want to find the perfect thing to stitch on here for Christmas and totally turn this into a North Pole sign. Different vibe. Just with your finishing, you can do that different, which is what we're gonna, that's why we're doing a retreat to talk about finishing. So super, super fun. This is a classic haunt by Hands On Design, and I actually finished mine obviously into a Halloween snow globe. So if you did the Snow Magical Sal with me last year, this snow globe design was created for Brenda Gervais for Snow Magical, and then we went ahead and did a stitch along and finished it on there. But I like a snow globe, as any of my paper crafters know, for anything. And so when I found this classic haunt from Hands On Design, when I stitched this design from Hands On Design, I thought it would fit on here, and it did, and I love it. So this is my Halloween snow globe. The top is painted white. I believe I spray painted it. The bottom, I painted and then grunged up with some golden stuff. I probably have a tutorial. It's probably exactly like Snow Magical if I'm not mistaken. I did this a year ago. I did embellish with ribbon. I embellished with Tim Holtz metal pieces, broomstick, even added some little sparkly stars and some just another Button Company buttons. And then I did put a little bit of Lady Dot pom-pom trim around this. So super cute. This is a classic haunt by Hands On Design. And the fabric is a purple by, it's a 32 count, I know, by Fabrics by Stephanie. I just can't remember the color. And then one of the things I'm probably most proud of, one of my favorite finishes of all time, and I don't know if this is in her shop or not, but I have an extra one of these. And because I don't know if it's still available, not finished, it's just the raw wood, I'll be giving it away today. So stay tuned for the giveaway section if you want to make one of these darling haunted houses. Now, she may have added it back in her shop. I can't remember, but I do have it extra that I would love to gift to one of you. This is the, I think it's Costume Party by Hands On Design. It was a stitch along a couple of years ago. I finished mine on this haunted house from 141 Design, and I did that texture spray again. I did spray painting for that. Another one that I didn't do the back. Girlfriend, what are you doing? But I completely embellished with Tim Holtz. Everything. Some of it is still available, some is not, but every year, Tim comes out with new ideology, and I just highly recommend having a little cache of it because you can pull it all together and make some super fun things. His Halloween is my favorite. Christmas is second favorite, but he really brings it for the Halloween. Little stacks of pumpkin. I did get some like mossy stuff at Michael's for this. It's also in the cauldron, but I love it. I know for a fact these letters are Tim Holtz. They're years old. I've had them forever. Very hard to find. They were retired and not brought back out. So bummer. Is all I've got. But you can find old little letters like that other places or, eBay or whatever. So this is Costume Party by Hands On Design. Let's talk about my two previous Halloween quilt finishes really quick. Both of these have, well, this one's been done for years and years. So let's talk about my quilts, and then I'm going to show you my new FFO. So this is, I'll show, it's 4 big I believe these are Navajo stars, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that. I will find the pattern and I'll put it here on the screen before when I edit this. But there's 4 big blocks. And this is a Joanna Figueroa Fig Tree Quilts pattern. But it is not her fabric, obviously. This is Bella Boulevard fabric. I don't even know if Bella Boulevard, they are a paper crafting or a paper crafting scrapbooking company as well, but they did do fabric with Riley Blake. They may still, I don't remember, but I was on their team several years ago. Several, like 12, 13, I don't know. And this was a quilt that I did kind of for that, and I love it. I've always loved it. Super, super fun, but it's huge. So hard to show, but I wanted to share that. And now I'm going to grab Bats and Booze, the free quilt along from Fat Quarter Shop from about 3 years ago. Okay, obviously the Halloween hat as well, which I shared with you last week. I hang it on the ladder with this in my living room for now. This is Bats and Booze. It was a free quilt along from Fat Quarter Shop, like I said, 3 years ago, I believe. It is still to this day my favorite free. This and the Snowflake, which I also did. It's not called Snowflake. It's okay. I'll show it at Christmas time. It was a Jelly Roll quilt pattern, the Snowflake one, are my 2 favorite free charts from Fat Quarter Shop. And I've made both of them. This one I love. It could be a table topper because it is pretty small. I will show on the back, I bought a pattern, a block pattern of this ghost, and I will link to this down in the description when I link to my, when I link to this. But love, love, love this. It's so pretty. This is Fig Tree Quilts fabric. So just like Tim does the best Halloween like ideology, I really think that Joanna does the best Halloween collections. I love all of them. I hoard them. And I do sew stuff with them because I love, love, love her fabric. I have one other table topper. I cannot unearth it because I have decorated it with it. I made it 15, 16 years ago with Sweetwater fabric. I would guess that's how long ago it was. It's a little table topper. It was a Joanna Figueroa pattern. But I'm going to insert a photo right here. So sorry. So that you can see at least a little part of it, just because I should have filmed it before I decorated. But I have it on my entryway table underneath some cloches with skulls and bones and stuff, because I do like to decorate with those. And it is really cute, but I know that was Sweetwater Halloween fabric, and I remember, I think I made that, I want to say right when that fabric came out, because I loved that Halloween collection. Liking Halloween and liking Halloween decor and quilting and crafting is not new for me. I've loved it forever. So that is it for previous finishes for Halloween. I do have quite a few other things for fall, which I'll put in another video. But let's talk about my new FFO. Okay, FFOs this week. I have one. This is When Pumpkins Glow by With Thy Needle and Thread. Stitched on 40 count Ligonier latte. Isn't that right? I'm almost certain. 1 strand over to all the called for overdyeds. Finished on the called for finishing board. Everything about this was called for. This is the Panorama, I think, board from Chantal's 141 design. It was created for this stitch. Obviously, if other things fit on here, you can do that as well. I spray painted mine with black, grunged it up, sanded the heck out of it. I also put a coat of poly, but then I did sand it to kind of take a little bit of the shine off. Very light, fine sanding. And then I finished it. Now, I did lace my piece. I did finish it with 3 layers of batting underneath. I started with 2, did not like it. I also thought I'd take a shortcut and use the finishing tape. Did not like that either. So I put 3 layers of batting, laced it, and then I didn't do the rickrack like Brenda Gervais did. I did this fun little hemp rope kind of twine situation. I started and ended up here at the top because I knew I could hide it. I attached it with the Aleene's glue, and then I made a bow with Chantal's bow tool using this little black and white check ribbon I think I had got from Stampin' Up. I think I got the twine from Stampin' Up too, actually. And then I believe that's just another Button Company little pin that I stuck through there because this actually is not attached. You can see where my twine's attached there, but my little bow disguises it. So perfect. This way, if I ever want to switch it out or do something different, I can. I have really been stepping away from the hot glue a lot for my finishing. Even this was attached. I actually attached it to the board with the sticky tape after I laced it because I thought if I ever want to take it off, there won't be hot glue back behind it. If I ever, let's say I wanted to make a pillow or something, Jessica made a really cute pillow with hers. If you wanted to do something like that later on, you're like, yeah, I don't want a flat finish anymore, you could change it pretty easily. So that is my finish of When Pumpkins Glow. I absolutely love it. Full disclosure, I did fully finish this after all of those photos were taken, so you didn't see it in the decor, but that's okay. Let's talk finishes. This is a start and a finish this week. Last week I shared that in the most recent Primrose Cottage Free Stitch Friday, I think is what they're calling it, newsletter, which went out like October 3rd. This was the free stitch chart. Say that 3 times fast. Free stitch chart from Primrose Cottage. It's this cute boos, hisses, and cross stitches. I knew that I wanted mine to be teeny tiny. I think I'll probably hang it on my tree, but also I thought a little pillow in my stitch box, in like my Halloween or fall stitch box. Well, Halloween stitch box would be really cute. So because I wanted it tiny and because I really like stitching on 46, I don't throw things at your screen right now. I stitched it. I started and finished stitching it on 46 count raw by Zweigart. So cute. 1/2. Look how adorable it is. Even bigger, it would be super, super cute. But I thought this was so fun. I love the colors. So I used 3 of the called for colors. Sorry, Odin's having a little nightmare. Or he's dreaming. Maybe he's chasing some bunnies. I don't know. These are the 3 Cottage Garden thread colors that were called for. And I'm going to put these in a Halloween bag to use for other things. I like these a lot. So the colors are Ampersand, Sleepy Cat, and Scandalous. Now, I will say I did not buy the finishing kit from Primrose Cottage because I think you had to get fabric, and I didn't want any of the choices of fabric. So I already knew when they showed this, when they talked about this was coming out and there was a call for fabric, I think I ordered something different. But then when I got it, I decided I want to stitch it on 46, and I like 46 count raw a lot. So I found these at, I believe, Hobby House had these, and that's where I ordered these 3 from so that I could have these 3 colors. The other 3 called for were DMC. Wouldn't you know it, with all of the DMC that I have, did not have the colors, or it's in a project bag and I'm not searching. So my new go-to when that happens is to just dive into my color and cotton stash. So I picked Cottage, Goldcrest, and Ring Toss. I will list these in the description below, and there will be a a social media post, I will have all the information. But this is my super cute Boos, Hisses, and Cross Stitches from Primrose Cottage. Very quick stitch. I will say it probably took me just a little longer because it's such a tiny count, and I really had to make sure that I was, you know, stitching it correctly and not maybe skipping and grabbing 3 or anything like that. So it took me about 2.5 evenings, I think. And I worked on something else a couple of those days. So, but I did try to kind of keep to monogamously stitching this until it was done. A lot of Harry Potter movie watching happened while I stitched this. Okay, the only whip I worked on this week is the Salem Sisters Apothecary. It's my goal to finish it this year. If you watched last week's video, I talked about how I decided to not finish it on the finishing board. And I did have several of you reach out to me. Actually, more than several. I had a lot of people. I said I would sell this board for what I paid for it. And someone, the first person who contacted me, I went through all my messages, said she wanted it, purchased it, and it is on its way to her tomorrow when the post office opens. So it's all packaged up. So I did sell it. It is gone. Sorry to everybody else. I tried to answer. If I haven't answered you yet, I'm just behind on my emails and messages. And I got messages all over the place. Email is really the best way to reach me. I don't check Facebook very often. Don't be mad. Don't throw things at the screen for that either. I just don't. I don't check Facebook Messenger. Messenger? I don't even know what it's called. That's how much I don't like it. And then Instagram, I am behind. I'm behind in that. Email is the best way. So anyhow, this is the only thing I worked on. I got a lot done. So you know I had only restarted this last week. I did have a small snafu snag, a counting error. It won't make a difference. I just need to keep it in mind. I'm like 1 too low for the cauldron. I'm further than what I was when I was stitching on a fabric I didn't like. I think that goes to show you that the fabric does make a difference. So here is where I'm at. This is the Salem Sisters Apothecary by Primrose Cottage, stitched on, I think it's Thyme Goes By. If it's not Thyme Goes By, the right name will be here, but I got to tell you guys, all that I can think is that the lyric, thank you, from Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers, that is what's going on in my head. It's something time, but I think it's Thyme Goes by Seraphim. I love it. It's a nice grungy. You can see it's got some great modeling to it. It looks old. I am going to finish it like a sign, but probably, obviously, this is much smaller. It's 40 count, and I'm going to finish it on a board, or I'll finish it on sticky board or something and hang it from Chantal's signpost is what I'm going to do with it. But I'll finish it much like the post for the flying lessons, where it's kind of crackly and grungy and black. So that's where I'm at. I got all the rest of the words stitched. So here's what happened. H and E. I stitched the Salem Sisters to see how long it was going to be. I stitched a couple letters here, and then I popped over here and stitched a couple letters, and then I was kind of stitching towards the center. H and E were the last two. No. Yes. H and E were the last two stitched, and I didn't realize I stitched them one too many, so they were longer than the others. And I started to stitch all these little things coming out of the cauldron. I popped down here. I outlined the cauldron. When you know it, it made everything one too low because I couldn't figure out why these things weren't lining up. And so then I had to rip part of these out, restitch and fix that. But I'm not fixing it for one row too low. We will adjust it. I just need to keep that in mind with stitching all of the things next to it. Honestly, once that cauldron is done, it's just a bunch of little motifs and some little back stitching for some words, and then of course finishing the words on the bottom, but those will be very easy. I already started the word bruise. I'm super excited. This one will be a finish this year. I'm working towards my goal of getting some stuff finished. Not just starting. I know. You're like, girl, you're showing us a bunch of stuff you started again. But I got something I want to talk about after I share you the rest of my new starts. So I really felt after I finished Boos, Hisses, and Cross Stitches that I wanted a new Brenda Gervais start. The whole time I was finishing it, I thought, I'm rewarding myself. I'm rewarding myself with one of Brenda's charts. Which one? Okay, you want to know what it came down to? Which one did I have a full kit for? That's ridiculous. I have floss pulled for lots of them, but I hadn't pulled fabric. So I grabbed a full kit that I got. It's the Goodness Gracious. It is from this year's release. I bought the full kit from Farm Girl Dry Goods. So it is the called for everything, the called for fabric, which I believe is Be Stitch Me something. It'll be here on the screen. I did not bring that paper in, of course not. But I started this last night. Or did I start the day before? I started it Saturday night, yes. But I did all of the Oscar leaf greenery and I finished it. I just color completed. That's all I did. So I know it's kind of hard to see on the modeling on this fabric, but it is going to be beautiful. And it is the called for fabric for this. I got like lots of little stray goobers here. But there we go. Look at that. I cannot wait to start adding in the jack-o'-lanterns and the witch and that urn. I think I'm going to do the urn next. Is kind of my plan. But this is stitching up quickly. I really wanted to start the woodland witch, but I did not get a kit for her. So I started one that I had a kit for, but that will probably be next. So that is Goodness Gracious by With Thy Needle and Thread. Stitching on, I believe this is 36 count something from Be Stitch Me, 1 strand over 2. I know this. I knew it was 36 because I was like, wow, this is going so fast. You know why it was going so fast? Because 40 and 40, especially 46, not so fast. Oh, goodness. My other new start is the On the Vine sampler from the new Between Friends, a fall sampling book from Hands on Design and Summer House Stitchworks. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite so far from this series. Winter has not been released. There's spring, summer, and fall. I love everything in the fall book. Everything. But I'm a fall girl. You guys know this. And Jessica and I decided to go ahead and get started on this. I think it's all DMC. I had one of the DMC colors, so I did a full conversion. You may have seen on my Instagram, I did do a post on this, and I haven't touched it yet since then. I am stitching this on 36 count Dandelion by Color and Cotton. This was actually their color fabric for September, and I am stitching this with all Color and Cotton conversion, 1 strand over 2. The Dandelion is just a beautiful gold color, and look how great the white thread pops on here. That was what I was going for. So if you want my full conversion, pop down to the description or check out Instagram and you can see exactly which Color and Cotton threads I'm using. And the color is beautiful. My favorite color in this that I think really was perfect is this bluish color, which is called Legato. And it's used very minimally for like these little bluish green little motifs, whatever they are, little flowers or something. Oh, I just love that little pop of blue in here. So this is a fall stitch. I know I showed a lot of Halloween. This is obviously a fall stitch. Absolutely love this. I'm going to try to get some work done on this as well. This was one evening of stitching. So pretty good. I definitely think 2 more evenings and that will be done. Okay, before we get to the new Enable Vision part of the episode, I do want to talk about my plans for November. So obviously I've been on a start it all kick. It does tend to give me a little bit of anxiety. Normally it doesn't, but I think it's fine to start all the things. Really, you do you. This does not matter to anybody but me. I'm telling you what I'm going to do for November. So it really doesn't matter why or anything like that, because I don't make set goals. Like, unless it's a Sal, I'm not like, it has to be done at this point. That needs to be my focus. Mostly I'm just like, do what you want. It should be fun. It should be fun. It should always be fun. I do like to have like little plans, goals, whatever you want to call them. And so if you want to join me for November, for what I'm going to talk about, be my guest. It probably also means this is not the last new start you're going to see from me this month, because I am going to do no new starts November. That just means focus on stuff you've already started and see how much progress or how many things I can get finished in November before the craziness of the holiday season. I know there's going to be tons of new charts. I'll probably be super sad, but you know what? Kit them up. Kit them up. December 1st, I can knock myself out. Right? I can do whatever I want. But I'm going to do no new starts November. Here's my hashtag for it. Join me if you want to. Now, the only problem with that fun idea I had is that my birthday is in November and I want to do a November birthday start. Because of that, I'm not going to break my no new start November rule. I'm going to start it now and have even if I put one stitch in, it's already started. Okay? I know that's silly. It doesn't matter to anybody but me, but that is the plan. So if you want to join me for that's fun too. I don't really know how I want to do it. I don't necessarily think you have to stitch what I'm stitching. I know that a lot of people do that. I literally am just picking something from my stash that I want to stitch. When I was talking to a friend the other evening, we were discussing how I store my charts, which I will be sharing in an episode in November, like how I store things and everything like that, because I've had a lot of questions about it lately. I do, and I had mentioned it last week when I was sharing Halloween charts. I should sort or store all of my charts that are not kitted up or in a project bag being worked on in binders by season or theme or occasion. So like theme or occasion would be like, I call it I love to stitch or I love to sew or something like that. But it's all my like tomato charts or craft room type of charts. Things that pertain to our hobbies and crafts. I have a sampler section. There's like random, baby, anything that's not season. And then I have fall and Halloween each have their own sections in a binder. We have love, Valentine's together, Easter, Easter spring, summer, and then patriotic, because I have a lot of patriotic, so it has its own section. And then we have winter and Christmas. So that's kind of how I organize and sort mine. They're just binders. I am going to put a link down below to the binders and the dividers that I use, and also my label maker that I use from my Amazon shop in case you're interested. But I will do a full video for that in November if you're interested at all. It's a very easy, economical way to store, and it also makes it really easy when you're looking for something. I can always find what I'm looking for. And then I do have one other binder, and that is things I've stitched, and I do keep them. I didn't used to keep all of my charts, but I do keep them now in case I ever either want to stitch them again, if I need to reference them and be able to easily find the information. And what inspired me was Carol, the salt box stitcher, mentioned she keeps all of her charts. And I thought, there are so many times that I have to go look on the internet to find things. It's kind of nice to just have those to reference. So I do have a binder. I don't have a few of the charts because I didn't start keeping them right away, but most of them I do, which I love. So no new starts November, and because of my birthday month, let me talk about what I'm going to stitch. You can't, if you haven't stitched this, because it's not new. We're doing OG Nichol, how Nichol used to like pick sows, and probably will again in the future. It's not like I won't do this again, but this is something I've wanted to stitch. So if you have it started, I know a couple of friends said that they have this started. Join me and maybe you can get some stitches in November. But it is something I have all the floss for, which I thought was funny. So I'm going to grab some fabric and stitch it up. So let me grab it. Okay, so for my birthday this year, I want to stitch the Autumn Cloche from Hello from Liz Matthews. And unlike last year where I didn't think about it very far in advance last year. I'm going to give myself that out. I started a Teresa Kogut, which has had 0 progress made on it. And that's kind of a bummer. I have wanted to stitch this forever. This came out in 2022. And it's funny, it was in my cart, out of my cart, in my cart, out of my cart. And then when I was doing the Halloween chart parade library for you last week, I saw this in my binder with all the needlepoint silks. So these are the MPI silks for it. I bought all of them. And the called for fabric is 40 count Steinbeck by Needle and Flax. I don't have that, but I have lots of good fabric. So I decided I'm going to stitch mine on 40 count Milk and Coffee. I think Milk and Coffee. Is that XJU? I think so. But I decided that's what I'm going to stitch it on. I like how it doesn't have the yellow undertone to it, which this fabric didn't either really. I had considered doing the Thyme Goes by Seraphim for this as well, but I kind of like this, so that's what I'm going to do. One of the things I love about this is, yes, there's the little spiders in it. You can eliminate them if you don't want it to be Halloween-ish, but nothing about this says Halloween to me except for the webs maybe and spiders, but let's face it, they're out in full effect in fall anyway. I love the pumpkins. I love the cloche. And so this is going to be my start. What I'm going to do is this week I am going to start the cloche. And my goal is to have the cloche stitched so that on November 15th, my birthday, I'm going to start stitching the inside, the fun part. Now, I know this isn't new, and if you don't want to stitch it, that's fine. But if you want to join me for my birthday, just pick something fall related to stitch. Fall is my favorite season. And so I will have a hashtag. I don't have one thought of right this moment, so I'll think of one. I will do a whole post about it, but I am going to do a post. I'm going to get all of my NPIs on Flosstube and ready to go for this. But if you already have it started, please consider joining me and just putting a few stitches in for my birthday. So we'll talk more about this probably every week because this year I'm going to be intentional and I really want to spend some time stitching something that has been in my stash that I really, really want to finish. So we're going to be stitching I'm going to be stitching Autumn Cloche by Hello from Liz Matthews. Enable Vision. Okay. So I don't have a lot to share. My color and cotton order came. So my new floss. This is the Thread Club for October. Beautiful colors to add to my floss wall. Primitive colors, gorgeous. I just love it. And I've been using my color and cotton more and more. I've kind of been color converting. This month's neutral fabric is green tea. This is beautiful. I get the 36 count. I'm considering trying to switch to 40 but we'll see. I do love 36 and I love having it. I also get the color fabric of the month. And this one, oh you guys, it's so pretty. It is called Glacier. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. So I got my color in cotton order. And believe it or not, that is it this week. Nothing else. Just lots of creating going on. Okay. It is time for giveaways and winners. No winners to announce this week, and that is because the giveaway from last week is still going on through the 18th. I do give you a little bit longer just because I know not everyone can tune right in. So when this week's giveaways are up, it will be across the screen as well as that pinned first comment for today's video, so definitely check that out. I have 3 giveaways. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to give away one of the Haunted House from 141 Design. Leave a 1 in your comment if you would like the Haunted House from 141 Design Co. Leave a 2 if you would like this package of 32 count Platinum Lugana by Zweigart. Now, I do think I've cut a little bit off, but there is a lot of fabric in here. So 2 if you want the Lugana cloth 32 count. And number 3, this beautiful Teresa Kogut With Thy Hands book. If you would like this, leave a 3 in the comment. Okay, make sure you are a U.S. resident. Make sure that you are over 18 because I do have to ask for your address. And U.S. only for today's giveaways, just to make it easy. Like and subscribe the video. Share with your friends, you guys. If you have a stitchy friend that you think might enjoy the content, definitely share with your friends. I think that is it for this week's episode. I will be back next week to talk about all of the fall charts as well as share the ornaments that I've made so far and fully finished and my tree skirt. Wish me luck because I do have to do a little bit of seam ripping from the first binding that I attempted to put on and did not like. So I've already made my second binding. Send me all the good sewing vibes this way if you wouldn't mind. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new Flosstube stitching or quilting video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. A wait list. Words are hard. Words are hard on this Monday morning. Fun note, I just found my note for the Salem Sisters Apothecary. It is Thyme Goes By. Why is now, today, just the first time that it struck me that it reminds me of song lyrics? Random. Completely random. I'm going to can't talk. So this week's